Hey, I'm Casey, and I want to talk about what you should do when you have a bunch of small disagreements with your partner. Maybe you guys just don't see eye to eye on small little things here and there. How should you handle that, especially since they're small? We all know that when there's big disagreements or with big conflict or big issues between you two, that it's important to apply conflict management skills to not make the disagreements become bigger than they are and make mountains out of molehills. But when there's small little disagreements here and there that you just don't quite understand why your partner does it this way or why they do it that way, and it just doesn't make logical sense to you, should you always allow your partner to do what they want, or should you be able to do whatever you want? Before we dive right into this topic, I want to share with you my free relationship guide that walks you through the 11 steps to maintain and keep your bond strong and happy with your partner for a lifetime. There's a lot of good information for you to apply to your relationship. So when I'm talking about small disagreements here or there, maybe it's something like who should wash the dishes or when to wash the dishes. Should you wash the dishes whenever there's something dirty in the sink, or should you wash the dishes when there's an accumulation of dirty dishes in the sink? Something small like that, little everyday things here and there. I'll tell you how my husband and I handle these small little disagreements here and there. We have been happily married for many years, and he is a wonderful life partner to me, and we are very happy together in our everyday life. But that doesn't mean that we see everything eye to eye. We are still different people, and he's more type A than me. For certain things, he may find it as more important to do it right away compared to me. One of those things is washing the dishes. For me, when I was single, I used to wait until all the dishes were accumulated in the sink before I washed them at the end of the day. That way I wasn't constantly washing and doing something in between my other tasks throughout the day. For my husband, he is more type A, as I mentioned, so he feels the need to wash every little dirty thing in the kitchen, in the sink, whenever he passes by it. For him, it makes him uncomfortable, or it bothers him to an extent where he cannot leave a dirty dish in the sink unwashed. I don't necessarily agree with that stance of having to wash every little dirty dish immediately, and he may not understand why I need to accumulate everything until the end of the day before I wash it. Even though we each don't agree with the other person's stance, but we still respect the other person's stance, and we try to understand why they think that way, why their behavior is the way it is, and why they feel bothered about something that doesn't necessarily bother us, but it bothers them. We try to understand our partner in a way that makes them feel acknowledged and understood. When it comes to the dirty dishes, my husband is fine with washing even my dirty dishes whenever he sees any dishes in the sink. And we have grown accustomed to this habit of allowing him to wash every little dirty dish whenever he sees fit. But for me, if there's an accumulation of dirty dishes, whether he's out for the day and there's an accumulation of dirty dishes, then I will take care of it on occasion and I will wash it without a problem, because that used to be my habit anyway. Because of that, we have understood each other's habits, and there's no longer any issues or conflicts between the two of us, even though we don't necessarily agree with the other person's stance or behavior, but we have come to acknowledge and respect it. Another recent example of just a small disagreement between my husband and I is that I had decided to leave my toothbrush and toothpaste in the kitchen, because when I brush my teeth, it happens to usually be when I'm in the kitchen. So that is the most convenient spot for me to grab my toothbrush and toothpaste. It happens to bother my husband because he feels that a toothbrush and toothpaste shouldn't be in the kitchen. It should be in the bathroom. And so he and I had talked about it. He had brought up his grievances with me. He had tried to reason with me and to explain why I should be putting my toothbrush and toothpaste in the bathroom and not the kitchen. And even though I don't necessarily agree with him, but I acknowledge and I respect his stance. At the end of the day, a relationship is all about compromise. Compromises for both people. It's not only one person always compromising. And because my husband is such a wonderful life partner, he's such a good husband, and he makes me so happy in the relationship, that to me, it's a small compromise. It's not a big deal. Even if I may not completely understand why it bothers him so much, I understand that he's type A, and I understand that my husband's well-being is more important than just a small compromise on my end. It's no big deal for me to grab my toothbrush and toothpaste from the bathroom instead of leaving it in the kitchen. For you in your relationship, Relationships are all about assessing what makes sense for both people and also making small compromises here or there, or sometimes even medium compromises, depending on whether or not you find your relationship and your partner's well-being important to you. You need to weigh what's more important to you, weigh what matters to you, whether it's your own selfish desires or your partner's well-being, and that will determine how happy your relationship will be. If both partners are willing to compromise for their partner, to take into account their partner's well-being, even if they may not agree with their partner's stance, then that is a great foundation for a happy, well-functioning relationship. If you found this video helpful, remember to like and subscribe. And don't forget to check out my free relationship guide that will teach you so much about how to maintain a happy, healthy, functioning relationship for life. Remember to take a look at this next video. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you next time.